what is the implications of brain plasticity for children and adults, including senior citizens, in terms of language learning?
Right. Well, I think brain plasticity, historically, we had a pretty good understanding that brain plasticity was important for brain development in children, and that the experiences of children were very important for molding their brains to provide intellectual growth. And as you know, language is one of the ways in which we exercise our cognitive abilities, and our brain develops through the use of language, since it's our primary way of communicating. It's how we think. We think in terms of language constructs and meaning. And so it's very important for young children to have good language exposure, to have parents and grandparents talking to children and exposing them to language to help them build their language structure and build their brains, and the cognitive skills that are required, like memory and attention and auditory processing and sequencing of information, helps build your cognitive skills and your language function. So I would suggest that in addition to using language and to reading more as we age, also physical activity is very, very important.
You emphasize on the importance of cognitive skills such as memory, attention, processing, sequencing. They are influencing learning skills. Then what is the most important study methodology when you want to improve these cognitive skills?
Well, language, for example, certainly uses those cognitive skills. Reading uses those cognitive skills. So what I would suggest is that you stay active, read books, have conversations, and those kinds of interactions will help engage your foundational cognitive mechanisms and use them and practice them. Do something new, learn a new language. That can also can help. Study a new area of interest, right? Read books about that can help improve your cognitive skills and keep you sharp and active.
What do you think about that? And how can we balance the development of both sides of the brain?
I think the reality is that we use most of our brains. This notion that we use just a small percentage of our brain, I think, is not accurate. We generally use all of our brain. However, I will say that the way our brains develop and are used over time can be different, and the patterns can be different and driven by experience. So one of the things I talked about this morning was the development of myelination in the central nervous system in the brain, and the fact that it takes place over many, many years. So brain development isn't just early childhood, it goes on until your mid-20s. You have the ability to normal development takes into the mid-20s. The frontal parts of the brain, the ones that are involved in cognitive control and thinking about things that might happen in the future, that's the predicting the future based on if I do this, then this will happen. If I do that, then something else might happen. And they're influenced by learning, by what we do as well. So in terms of the sidedness, clearly language development tends to be more left hemisphere dominant, particularly in the auditory system. But there's also activity going on the right side of the brain in terms of language processing as well.